video, I take on another 15-minute photo challenge, finding pictures on a red London Routemaster bus.
Adorama TV presents Take and Make Great Photography with Gavin Hoey.
Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that has everything for us photographers. And today, I've got a London bus to photograph because I'm going to do a 15-minute photo challenge. So 15 minutes to photograph as many interesting shots as I can in and around the bus, and only one camera and lens. So my camera is my Canon 60D, but the lens, it was a tricky choice for lens on this one, but I opted for my Sigma 10 to 20mm lens because there's loads of big things and I think that's going to be my ideal choice to try and get in some of the larger parts of this shot. So that's what I'm going to use. Where do you start with something this big? I guess you start at the front because it's got this iconic Routemaster red bus. The front of the bus is pretty much in line with the sun for me, so if I come back and I get the shot I had in mind, well, it's all going to be pretty much in silhouette. So I've got to watch that a little bit, and I reckon if I just drop down a tiny bit, that'll work. So here we go. Yeah, I can just get the sun behind the bus. That's terrific. That looks fine, that's good. Now this bus is just covered in small details, and I'm probably going to run around and shoot some of the small details in a bit, but the front of this has just got the London Transport logo. It's red. Let's get a shot of this. And come in and get it absolutely bang in the centre. Yeah, I really like that. I like that little bit of paint just peeling on the side. It just gives that little bit of character to the shot. Oh, you've got to love this. This is this classic Routemaster bus entrance, back of the bus. Just jump on and off as it was running. This one isn't running. This one is at a garden centre and going nowhere, but that's handy for me as a photographer, I guess. Yeah, love the button. That's got to be a good picture in there. How do I photograph that? Because I'm not tall enough to get up and kind of get to the same height. I think that's where live view is going to come in. So let's just switch over to live view mode. I'll drop my aperture down because I don't need a massive depth of field in this shot, and I'm going to try and get live view to focus for me. Now, modern cameras are better at focusing at live view than my camera. This is a few years old now, so I might need a bit of patience for this. We'll see how this goes. Okay, wait patiently. Come on, camera, this is a 15-minute challenge. We don't have long. There we go. How fast is that at focusing? Not very at all, not very at all, but got there in the end. Right, okay, let's go upstairs, see what we can find up there. I love the top deck of the bus. It's always the place to be. Great views from up here. Thing is, the contrast range up here is enormous. It looks fine in the video, but it's not dark in here, but it's very bright outside. So if I try and take a shot, have a look at this, I can see detail on the bus, but the windows are fairly blown out. So I'm probably going to need some HDR, or at least some exposure blending to get the shots that I want up here. So fortunately, I did bring my tripod with me, and I'm going to swap over to that and use that for some more shots. So with the camera on a tripod, I'm going to work a little bit slower, but I'll try and stick to my 15-minute challenge. But I don't know where we are. This bus is located at Witchcross Garden Centre up here on the Ashdown Forest. It's not the centre of London. And when I take a shot and I look through the windows, what I'm seeing is forest, which is beautiful. So I've got a little idea, which is if I just drop my tripod even lower and then re-angle myself up, then hopefully what I should see is a bit more sky and a little bit less garden centre. But it is really dark down here and it's really bright through the windows, so I'm going to blend these exposures together. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, actually, there should be somebody in the shot. This is an empty bus and there needs to be somebody in there. So I'm going to sit. Where am I going to sit? A couple of rows along. Let's just see where we are. So this is one row. I'm going to go 2 rows along. I'm just going to dial in to my camera, into the menu system somewhere. We'll dive in and put 3 shots together. So I'll get it to automatically exposure bracket shots, and on the Canon 60D that's 3 shots. If I switch my drive to 10-second self-timer, that'll run through the 3 shots after 10 seconds. All I need to do, flip the mirror out so I can see myself, and then run into the shot. Here we go. Like that. Am I in? I'm in. Okay, and I can just sort of sit and look over here. Here we go. And it takes all 3 shots for me. We'll do that once more just to be on the safe side. It's flashing. But that was pretty good. That gives a nice sort of human interest in the shot. I kind of like that. That works pretty well, I reckon. I reckon there's one more shot we can do with some human interest as well. I reckon down on the steps, there's a shot there. So let's just spin this around and do that. So before I do this, I just need to reset the menus. I'd love it if there was a quick reset button on these cameras, but there isn't, so I just need to remember to go into the menu or turn off the self-timer. I actually might leave the self-timer on because the shot I've got in mind is a view down the stairs with a sort of a human interest, namely me, moving on the stairs. So I will need a bit of time to set that up and get down there myself. Let's get the camera in position, and we'll kind of lean it over the top and try and get it as firm as I can. There we go. And I'll frame this up. Yeah, that works quite well. We'll start the self-timer and then I'm going to run down. Here we go. Okay. Well, the shutter went, but I think I'm just a little bit too in focus. Now, if I change my aperture, so let's dial it down to f22, that brings me down to ½ a second. So I've got ½ a second of motion blur. Let's give it a whirl. I'm watching the little flashy light when it stays on. Right, well, there you go. So some great shots, but 15 minutes. Oh, it's nowhere near long enough. Got to come back here and shoot some more pictures. But for now, that's the end of my 15 minutes. So let's get my favorite picture into Photoshop and do some editing. And we're going to do that right now. So the picture I want to work on, well, it's not really one, it's 3. It's the multi-exposure shot, the HDR, exposure blending, call it whatever you like. It's become so much easier to create a blended image inside of Lightroom 6 or Lightroom CC. So let's see how I'm going to do it. So I've got the 3 images here in Lightroom already. I've got the image that's the correctly exposed one according to the camera, but as you can see there's no information in the highlights and the shadows look pretty dark. Then I've got one that's 3 stops underexposed, so I have detail for the highlights, and 3 stops overexposed to give me detail in the shadows. Now to blend these together, I just need to select all 3 here on the film strip at the bottom. So I'll hold Control or Command on a Mac and click all 3, right click on any of them, it doesn't matter which one, and there I can find Photo Merge and HDR. Now that brings up the HDR Merge preview, and it is a preview so it's not going to be the full quality, but there are a couple of settings you can change. You can automatically align the images if you have any slight movement between shots, mine are fine. You can auto-tone the image, although I prefer to do that myself. And if you have any moving objects, you can choose to de-ghost, which I don't, so all I need to do is click on Merge. Now that will merge those down and create a brand new image, which I can then go and edit further. Now this is very similar to the way that I did the panorama in my previous 15-minute photo challenge over in the Bluebell Woods, and it is just as good at doing that in Lightroom as it is to make HDRs. It really is a great step forward. So let's have a little look at the editing. I click on the image, and this is no ordinary image. This is a 32-bit file. That means that I can come along here and I can take my exposure down, -5, -10 stops. And the same in the other direction. So I've got 20 stops of adjustment to play with, and this is why these are such great things to be able to create. Now at this point it's really a matter of just doing whatever editing you see fit. So in this case I think maybe I'll bring back some highlights, open up some shadows. I think this will probably make a good black and white, so let's choose that and keep going with a bit of clarity. and a bit more contrast, just to really give this a sort of an edgy feel. Now, even if I really open up the exposure and I zoom in, there is no noise in this shot, and that's the beauty of these HDR or exposure blended images. They just don't have noise if you've taken a range of exposures. So let's just bring this down, because I reckon what I want is kind of a gloomy feel for this shot. So we'll bring this down about a stop underexposed, and then I'll get the adjustment brush and I'll get the brush about a stop overexposed, and just sort of paint a bit more exposure in there, just to give it that sort of a vignetted feel, give it a real dark, moody feel, something like that. I reckon that looks pretty good, a few spots here and there. Okay, I'm done with that. I think really then all I need to do is just a little bit more fine tuning, tweak the whites, tweak the blacks. There we go. Come down here to the effects. Actually, we'll go for lens corrections and we'll just do the auto, because I can see everything's a bit wonky. And then I'll come to effects and maybe just add in a bit of grain in here, just to add a little bit of noise and a bit of texture into the image. Nothing too heavy, but just to give it that kind of moody, gritty feel. So there you go. There is my exposure blended image completed. Well, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more from myself and the other amazing presenters here on Adorama TV, you know what you've got to be doing? You've got to be clicking on the subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.
Do you want great looking prints at low cost? Be sure to visit our easy to use online printing service. Adorama Pix has professionals who treat your images with the utmost care that you can count on. For a quick turnaround on photos, cards, or albums, use adoramapix.com.